Imtara.
Standing in the opulent ballroom of the Sterling Country Club, surrounded by 200 guests, I felt a mix of nervousness and determination. The air was thick with anticipation as I took the microphone for my father. The room fell into absolute silence, and I could hear the faint hum of the air conditioning and the distant clink of ice in someone's glass. My father had just thanked me for giving up my apartment so that my sister, Lily, could have her dream wedding. But the truth was far from what he'd said. I took a deep breath and began. I want to clarify something. I didn't give it. I didn't sell it. I didn't even know about it until 3 weeks ago. Gasps rippled through the crowd, and I could see the color drain from Lily's face. To understand how I got here, I have to take you back to the beginning. I grew up in a family where my sister, Lily, was the center of attention. She was 4 years younger than me, charming, and my parents' favorite. I was always expected to be the strong one, the one who didn't need as much attention. When we were kids, both of us wanted to learn painting. I was 12 and Lily was 8. My mother signed Lily up for private lessons with a famous local artist, while I was told to practice on my own with some old brushes. I remember watching Lily skip out to her first lesson with a brand new set of paints in her hand, while I made do with what I had. As we got older, the pattern continued. When I graduated from college with top honors, my parents couldn't make it to the ceremony because they were helping Lily move into a new apartment they'd bought for her. They said they'd celebrate when I was home for the holidays, but it never really felt the same. 8 years later, I managed to buy my own apartment through years of hard work, long hours at the office, and strict savings. It was my little piece of the world, a place where I felt truly at home. But my parents never seemed to understand its importance to me. When they asked to keep the apartment documents safe, I trusted them without hesitation. 3 years ago, my parents made a bad investment. My father, who always thought he was a great businessman, put all their savings into a risky startup. When it failed, they were left with a huge debt and a mortgage they couldn't pay. I found out about it by accident when a letter from the bank was sent to my apartment. Without telling anyone, I started making the mortgage payments from my own account every month. A few months later, Lily borrowed my laptop to finish a work project. She must have seen the bank confirmations and decided to take the credit. She told my parents that she was the one paying the mortgage from her high-paying marketing job. My parents were so proud of her and told everyone in the neighborhood. Meanwhile, I kept making the payments, never realizing that Lily was stealing the credit for my hard work. Then Lily got engaged to Ethan, a wealthy heir whose family was well respected in the community. My parents were over the moon and started planning an extravagant wedding that cost a fortune. They knew they didn't have the money, and one night, I overheard my mother saying to my father that they needed to find another way. That same week, my mother started looking at my apartment listing online. I had no idea at the time, but they were already plotting to sell my apartment to fund the wedding. I realized that if I stayed silent, I would lose not only my home, but also all the years of hard work I'd put into it. And Lily would continue to take credit for my sacrifices. One Tuesday afternoon, I was at work when my mother called. She was laughing as she thanked me for the wedding present. I was shocked when she told me they'd sold my apartment. I was furious when they admitted they'd forged my signature on the sale documents. I immediately contacted my best friend, Mia, who is a brilliant real estate lawyer. She found out that the transaction wasn't finalized and that there were inconsistencies with the signature. She also discovered that Lily had been lying about paying the mortgage for 4 years. I decided to gather all the evidence, including bank statements, emails where my parents promised to keep my documents safe, and a screenshot of a message from Lily saying I wouldn't make a fuss. On the day of the wedding, I walked into the reception with a folder full of proof, ready to expose the truth. Back in the ballroom, I continued speaking into the microphone. My parents sold my apartment without my knowledge or consent. They forged my signature. And for the past 4 years, I've been the one paying their mortgage, not Lily. The room was in chaos. Gasps and whispers filled the air. Lily's face was pale, and Ethan looked at her in disbelief. My father tried to interrupt me, but I wasn't going to stop. I held up the bank statements and the original deed to my apartment, proving every word I said. I've loved you, Mom and Dad, enough to save your home in secret. But you never loved me enough to ask before taking mine. After I finished speaking, I set down the microphone and walked out of the ballroom. The silence lasted for a few seconds, and then the room erupted in chaos. I could hear Lily crying and Ethan demanding answers. Outside, Mia was waiting for me. She asked if I wanted to press charges against my parents for forgery, but I decided against it. I just wanted them to face the truth of what they'd done. In the following days, the fallout was intense. Ethan's family was appalled, and Ethan and Lily's relationship was on the rocks. My parents' reputation in the community was damaged, and they had to sell their house to pay off the debt. A few months later, I received a letter from my mother. She apologized for everything, for not seeing me, for always putting Lily first. It was a start, but I knew that actions would speak louder than words. Now, I'm living my life on my own terms. My apartment is still mine, and I've made it even more of a home. I've learned to stand up for myself and not let others take advantage of me. Family should be about respect, and I'm finally starting to understand that.